This is Geek Therapy Radio.
What are we waiting for?
And now your mental curator, Johnny Hamburger.
All right, my geeks, welcome to this midweek geek edition of Geek Therapy Radio. We are going to have a little bit of fun here. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the title of this video has something to do with terraforming Mars. If you're listening to the podcast, which Midweek Geek does not air over the broadcast on 9:50 a.m. KPRC, so obviously you are seeing the title of this podcast and seeing terraforming Mars. Don't be too scared off by that. If you're not so scientifically inclined, there's going to be some science in here. There's going to be quite a little bit of science in here, but not too much. It's not meant to kind of turn you off to this idea, because basically what I want to kind of get out of this is maybe this will help you terraform the Marses in your own life. So I'm going to be speaking specifically, yes, about terraforming Mars and what it would take and all the pitfalls and shortcomings and things that we might not have thought of in that endeavor. But maybe you can take some of this kind of logic, some of what we're talking about here, to maybe apply it to your own life in other ways. Terraform your own Marses. And really what got me thinking about this is I read an article saying that Elon Musk said one way we can terraform Mars is by nuking the ice caps on Mars, unlocking the carbon dioxide in the water. Let's just nuke it. Let's just bomb Mars into the Stone Age. Get it? Like, evolve. Okay. Anyways, let's just get on to it. And I did write a lot of this out, so I'll try to make it not sound so reedy, but there was a lot to get to here. So without further ado, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, and let's just get right into quote-unquote terraforming Mars. Now, I'd go so far as to say that it is possible mathematically, but almost impossible practically, much in the same way that time travel is mathematically possible while being almost virtually impossible mechanically. It's very hard to travel through time, if you haven't noticed. I mean, right now I'm traveling through time, just sitting here. 1, 2, 3. That's traveling through time technically, but you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Let's move on. So what would it take to terraform Mars, and what are the roadblocks? I'll say right now, it's those pesky roadblocks that throw severely huge wrenches into the gears. Each time we think we've got it cracked, as far as terraforming goes, each time we think we've got it cracked, there's the inevitable and massive practical letdown we seem to forget in our shower thoughts, because all terraforming Mars is right now pretty much is a glorified shower thought. Hope that kind of makes sense to you. Anyways, so let's tackle this terraforming Mars idea head on with the most seemingly glaring issue: the Martian atmosphere and lack thereof. Now, the Martian atmosphere pressure is 0.6% that of Earth's, so about half of 1% of Earth's atmospheric pressure. If you took your helmet off on Mars, every fluid in your body would instantly boil and or explode out of every orifice of your body and pour in your skin. It would be a quick, horrific, mind-meltingly, literally painful death. Don't take your helmet off on Mars. Don't even take your glove off. Anyways, let's talk for a second about what the term boiling means. You might associate that word with heat. You heat up the water in your pot until it boils, and you put your spaghetti in there. But boiling in this application, as far as atmospheric pressure and everything, has more to do with pressure than temperature. To shorten this tangent as much as possible, your blood doesn't boil on Earth because the weight of our atmosphere keeps the molecules of gases dissolved within it. So nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. It keeps those gases compressed and dissolved in there, tiny and evenly distributed in our blood. As the atmospheric pressure decreases, these molecules collect and expand into bubbles. In a catastrophic loss of nearly all atmospheric pressure, like taking your helmet off on Mars, this reaction occurs almost instantaneously and, you guessed it, horrifically. It ain't good for you. To terraform Mars, we need an atmosphere preferably close to the pressure of what life on Earth is used to, and preferably of comparable elemental composition to sustain that life as we know it. So let's start there with the atmosphere. The atmospheric pressure on Mars may only be about half of 1% what Earth is, but it is mostly carbon dioxide, which is actually good and necessary. But there's a caveat, there's just not enough of it. You see, carbon dioxide is a wonderful greenhouse gas. It absorbs the sun's heat to keep a planet nice and toasty to support life. A quick side note, I know some might be wondering, because I know some might be wondering, the Earth is currently trying to regulate greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. While the gas itself is good, but too much can alter the weather and temperature, forcing biology on Earth to adapt. You, me, plants, animals, etc. will have to adapt. Some species might go extinct while others adapt and flourish, just like what's been happening since the Earth formed billions of years ago. And as far as humans are concerned, this process went on billions of years before our species appeared and will continue to for billions of years after we're gone. That's just a fact. Humans are not the end-all be-all species on Earth. Earth didn't care before we got here. Earth's not going to care after we're gone. Earth barely cares that we are here right now. Barely. The Earth, the rocks, the ocean, the stuff, it will clean up after us eventually. We will not, the only person we're hurting, the only thing we're hurting on the Earth really is us. You can't hurt water. You can't hurt a rock. You can't hurt air. But if you treat it badly, all those things can hurt us. Let's get back on track here. So eventually we'll have to move our cities as the coastlines change, and the polar bears won't thrive in the warmer climate. Vegetation and warm climate organisms will flourish. Will flourish? Polar bears in your Key West condo won't. Anyways, let's get back to Mars, because that's what we're talking about here. We need to build up those greenhouse gas numbers in order to A, warm up the planet and equalize a climate, and B, increase the pressure so our blood doesn't explode out of our eye holes. We need our blood. Blood is good. Blood is what carries nutrients from your burrito to the organs that need the burrito vitamins, among performing other vital functions. On that note, we'd eventually need oxygen as well. You know, can't miss that. But first, we need much more carbon dioxide to feed the trees and keep the process of photosynthesis going. We'd also need fertilizer. Anyways, see what I'm saying? There are a lot of logistics involved in terraforming. I haven't even begun to mention how we could possibly unlock all of those gases from what's already available on Mars, let alone the water issue. Now, I also know what some of you might be thinking there. Just melt the ice caps on Mars. There's plenty of water there, right? Probably a lot of carbon dioxide frozen in there too. Well, kind of, yeah. There's a lot of water and CO2 in there, but the jury is out on whether it's enough of either. Now, this is kind of funny. Elon Musk has suggested nuking the ice caps to get the process started. Not so sure that's going to work, and many scientists seem to agree. It would be fun, though. No arguing that. I'm not saying not to nuke the ice caps, just that it might not be so effective. Anyways, the rest of the water, gas, and nutrients we need would likely need to be outsourced, and so far the top cosmic terraform contract bidders are comets, meteors, and asteroids. Okay, remember at the beginning when I said terraforming is mathematically possible, yet impossible practically? Is the picture getting painted, a little better now? All the logistics going into terraforming a planet. All we got to do is wrangle the exact cosmic missiles we want to hit Mars. Easy peasy. We need more water? Let's just get a water comet. Make it hit Mars. Let's just get more. We need more carbon dioxide. Maybe there's a meteor out there, asteroid made up of dry ice, frozen carbon dioxide gas. Easy. Now let's start to wrap this up. This has been an amazing exercise in fanciful shower thoughts. We've solved terraforming Mars before the soap ever meets our butt crack. Right? Remember that massive practical letdown I alluded to at the start of this endeavor that inevitably derails the last grandiose thought process? Well, you're about to drop your soap. So hang on. Remember that there is a reason that Mars used to have liquid water and an atmosphere, but does not now. Here's the big wrench. Even if we could make the atmosphere, even if we put the trees there, even if we do everything right as far as the atmosphere is concerned, here's the wrench in the works. Mars has no more magnetic field to protect the atmosphere from the solar and cosmic radiation and solar and cosmic winds. As soon as the magnetic field began to die, the atmosphere blew away like the seeds of a dandelion, along with most of the evaporated water. Now, while the extreme cold locked everything else up in the polar ice. So much of the gas that was there, water, of course, any sort of liquid there, it's locked in the polar ice there. That's why Musk thinks we can create the atmosphere on Mars again by blowing up the ice caps. I can't think that that's the only thing he thinks. It's not like Elon Musk sat there and said, I figured out terraforming. Let's just nuke the ice caps. That'll fix everything. No. Musk is smarter than that. He knows that that's not the only thing, but he was merely suggesting that it be one part of the equation, I guess. So cut him some slack a little bit there. So anyways, back to it. The first step in any terraforming effort has to be jump-starting Mars's engine. And to do that, you'd have to figure out why it ran out of gas in the first place. You can jump-start an engine with no fuel in the tank. Actually, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. You can't jump-start the engine with no fuel in that tank. You can keep chugging it. Start it now, try it now. But if there's no gas in the tank, that engine ain't gonna start. The Earth has a magnetic field protecting the atmosphere and everything in it from the cosmic and solar radiation and wind. Cosmic wind. That magnetic field is generated by the churning molten iron in Earth's core. That process is all but dead in Mars and even our own moon. So how do we melt whatever iron is in Mars's core and then restart the churning process? The protective magnetic field required to hold an atmosphere in the first place. How do you restart that magnetic field on Mars? That's the rub. I'm not proposing how we can even begin to do that. Maybe this is the perfect point to interject that in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, especially in the comment section. What's a possible, conceivable, mathematically possible way to jumpstart Mars's core again so that we can have a magnetic field on Mars? Doesn't matter if it's fanciful or stupid or idiotic or whatever. I might have said a lot of that kind of stupid, idiotic stuff in here already. But just comment below, what do you think? Remember what I said at the beginning. This is a thought exercise here. Regenerating Mars's magnetic field to create a new Martian atmosphere seems like... Oh, sorry, I misread that. Regenerating Mars's magnetic field makes creating a new Martian atmosphere seem like simply farting on a road trip and locking the windows. To put an atmosphere on Mars, in comparison to starting up the magnetic field again, putting the atmosphere on seems like child's play. Seems easy compared to starting up that magnetic field. Now, all that said, I have long argued on Geek Therapy Radio that it is my opinion that the first stop to Mars is our own moon. Up to and including experiments and terraforming. I know it won't work, okay? Before you comment, I know it won't work. But thought exercise, let's keep going. Yes, I know terraforming the moon is likely impossible. It is highly unlikely it'll be a tropical beachfront oasis. Beyond what I previously mentioned about the moon's dormant core, there is most probably not nearly enough gravity to hold on an appreciable atmosphere to the surface, even with a protective magnetic field. Magnetic shield, blocking the cosmic radiation and wind. But we could learn invaluable lessons and collect astronomical, see what I did there, volumes of data towards terraforming a more viable cosmic body, even despite the seeming failure of the lunar outcome. So to rephrase that, what I'm saying is, even though we would fail technically to terraform our own moon, in that endeavor, we would learn so much about terraforming and what would probably work and what will more likely work on a more viable option, a more viable planet, more viable moon, whatever it is. If it hasn't become apparent already, perhaps it is easier in the meantime to take care of what we already have, to give us the necessary eons required to figure out the development of cosmic real estate. Let me rephrase that. Maybe before, I don't know, I've never actually met anyone who does this, someone who pours like actual used motor oil down into the storm drain. I'm not saying that I'm a greenie weenie or that I agree with that mentality at all, but like, don't be pouring oil down a storm drain. That's stupid. Take care of what we got right now to give us the necessary amount of time for our species to evolve and to figure out the problem of, in this case, terraforming. Now, that being said, it is entirely possible that in that time that our species may come to the conclusion that we have no right to play God, after conceivably botching our time with what we've initially been given. That wasn't meant to sound like such a religious statement. I don't mind what you believe either way. You can be atheist, you can be Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be whatever. What I'm saying is, no matter what you believe in, our time on this earth, whether it's given to us on purpose or we're here on accident, it's limited. The Christian is going to die at the same time that an atheist does. We have the same amount of time here. That's all I'm getting at. Maybe in that time we'll figure out how to terraform. Maybe in that time also, maybe humanity might decide to be captains going down with our ship. We may come to the conclusion after all those eons that, you know what, it's not right for us to terraform something else. We messed up what we got, or time has simply run out. I'm not saying that we've messed up what we got, but maybe the sun just gets too big and it's our time to go. We just go down with the ship. Either way, whether we've screwed it up or whether the sun inevitably, which it will, swallow us, we might just go down with the ship. Now, I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with what I have just hypothesized, just that long after we're gone, future civilizations might come to such conclusions. Ethics change drastically even decade to decade. So imagine what will be right and wrong 200 million years from now. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe pouring oil down your storm drain in 200 million years will be okay. Maybe that'll be a good. Maybe that'll be the accepted political soapbox, political platform. I don't know. Pour your oil down your storm drains. It'll help the things. I don't see that. I'm just saying. We don't know. It's arguably a bit arrogant to come to any firm opinion on what our species will think hundreds of millions of years from now. I'm not 200 million years old. I can't travel 200 million years in the future to know what our sensibilities will be as a civilization. But to wrap up, all I know is this: treat yourself and others well, because we are all geeks about something. If we treat ourselves and others well, the end result can only be increased quality of life, no matter how much time we have on this beautiful blue rock. So until next time, my geeks, live long and prosper.